Yo guys, what is up? A very good morning and welcome back to a new daily market outlook. So wearing a cap today because my hair is looking absolutely terrible. I hope you guys don't mind. And with that said, let's dive in and see where your dollar is heading next. So after yesterday, we didn't really see that much movement within the market. Of course, since Asia session, so last night for myself, we have been moving back in towards the highs, which is not very strange. Obviously, we've tapped in towards this area of daily unmitigated, so daily fresh demand, which was not tapped into after kind of like a big sell-off in towards the downside. Furthermore, obviously we had that fractal break of structure on the daily, which also is a 4-hour BOS. So it is obviously a very clear sign that there is potential for a pullback to come in towards the market, which again, I'm totally fine with, because that will just only give us and provide us with a potential shorting opportunity if we do indeed push up in the market that high. But before that will happen, we will need to dive in towards the 4-hour. So just to finish my story over here on the daily, nothing obviously has changed. Still swing bearish, still fractal bearish / internally bearish, so still looking for those daily shorts, but obviously price never just sells off straight in towards the downside. Well, pretty much sometimes it kind of does, but still you kind of see these pullbacks in the market occur, which can still happen. And if we kind of see a similar pullback to like one of these, then obviously still the market would pull back in towards this buy before the sell. Now moving in towards the 4-hour time frame. Over here, then we can again still see that the overall order flow is bearish. This is your entire buy before the sell. Now kind of refining it just towards the last buy before the sell-off, then like it's not my favorite buy before the sell. Reason being is because we have all these wicks which have already tapped into it. So most of the times the strongest buy before the sells will be the ones where price just, let's say, rockets away without really providing price with any tap in. So for example, over here where you have kind of like a very strong buy in towards the highs, and what then happens is that the market comes in and moves back out again very swiftly. Again over here, very clean buy before the sell, no tap ins afterwards, and then market comes in and drops very rapidly. So these kind of zones are not my favorite zones to trade from. With the reason being that. So now focusing on where price currently is at, we'll then dive in towards the 15 to kind of further refine this 4-hour zone, because again, the overall 4-hour structure and order flow is still bearish until we break this black lines high. So I am still looking for that for the downside on euro dollar. Unless we break these highs, then I do expect that euro dollar could push up higher, pretty much in towards this overall buy before the sell, which I just pointed out on the daily. Where inside we of course have kind of like a fresh area of supply over here, or up above over here a fresh area of supply. So that's what I'll be looking for. Now going in towards the 15-minute, I am then looking at what price is doing. So obviously we are ranging, guys. So we are ranging over here, premium versus discount, and then we'll just change it into a range trading tool. So with the 75 and the 25% mark just outlined. And again, guys, this is absolute beauty. You can see 75% mark is your area of resistance. 25% mark is your area of support. So you want to be buying between, let's say, 25 to 0, and you want to be selling between 75 to 100. Now, I'm not saying just start selling over here, because for that we obviously need a nice area of supply and we need additional confluences. On this particular scenario, there is no fresh area of supply, so I'm not looking for a short. However, obviously, I am keeping in mind that we're kind of like in the upper side of the range. But then again, looking to the left over here, do we have any areas of fresh supply? Well, for myself, not. In addition to that, we have the liquidity above, kind of like this consolidation move in towards the downside. So therefore, I'm going to be very risk averse. What I'll be doing is I'll just be waiting to see, okay, is there going to be any bearish kind of like momentum coming in towards the market? Are we going to see kind of like that sell off in towards the downside, break the structure, or even potentially break these lows, and then potentially look for that further sell in towards the downside, with this then being our area of supply over here. But then for that, I would need a very aggressive sell-off. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but if that happens, then we look for the shorts, because otherwise what will just happen is this is the low that broke this high over here. So then this is just liquidity resting underneath these lows. We have a fresh area of demand over here, and then potentially we just tap in and then move up higher. Obviously, with not really having any fresh areas of supply up above over here, that is definitely a possibility of happening. It is a lower probability trade due to the fact that the 4 hour obviously is still bearish. So that's what I'm looking at for today. No real shorting opportunities on your dollar. So what I'll preferably just do again is either wait for this high to go, then I look for those longs, or I will just wait for kind of like a good bearish reaction, and then, for example, a break of this low, break this is a 4 hour fractal low, and then we look for those shorting opportunities if we kind of see an aggressive sell-off in towards the downside and a nice clean buy before the sell, let's say, form. So yeah, being patient, but of course, if you want to be a little bit more aggressive than myself, then you could look for potential long, let's say from this area of demand over here. Yeah, that could also play out. Now, moving on in towards the dollar index, because the dollar index is nearing an area of demand. So we are nearing this area of demand over here on the dollar index. This is pretty much the area of demand which took out this supply zone and this supply zone. So yeah, we did see a 4 hour bullish close, guys. We saw a 4 hour bullish close above this high over here. So that is now a confirmation that the overall 4 hour is bullish. Now, keeping in mind that once we move in towards here, because now the 4 hour is bullish and your 4 hour fractal structure is also bullish from this low in towards this high, because these two highs never broke this high. So now we've pulled back in towards this demand zone, so definitely expecting a reaction. Should we see a bullish reaction, then, and let's say a lower time frame kind of confirmation on the 15, then we could move up higher and start taking out these highs over here. Let's say we do not react and eventually we break this low over here, then we could just start selling off deeper, for example, in towards this fresh area of 4 hour demand, before then the 4 hour trend continuing in towards the upside. So that is what I'm looking at. Then quickly just going in towards the 15 minute. So yeah, on the 15, not much. Yeah, of course, we have this fresh sell for the buy, kind of like a V-shaped reaction. So there might be some orders inside here. Then we have kind of like this liquidity resting below the lows. So that is kind of what I'll be looking at for today. But now on the 15 minute, I do see that we have, did we take out that high? Let me just quickly zoom in. No, we did not take out that high. Okay, perfect. So that means that there's still liquidity resting above these highs, which we should take out in the near future. So we're now taking out the bottom side of the range, potentially an upward movement coming from here back up higher. So keep that in mind. If we do that, then you could look for those euro-dollar shorts. Those could start playing out. But again, guys, we need development. We need to wait for the market to come to us. I'm not going to just randomly start buying and selling because I see an area of supply or demand. No, we need the market to come to us and those opportunities to form perfectly. And that's why we have like this high win rate, right? So then 4 hour on AUDUSD. So yeah, pretty much played out like we expected it to, reacted to this 4 hour area of demand, pushing it towards the highs. I know a lot of you guys took this long. I was personally waiting, so I'll show that in a second. But yeah, very beautiful trade in towards the highs. So now we should take out this equal highs very, very soon, as long as this current 4 hour order flow holds. Because guys, the overall 4 hour is obviously bullish still from this swing low in towards this swing high. Then the internal flipped bullish as well. So you have structural alignment, tap in towards demand, and then you go long. It's as easy as that. Now myself, I was waiting for the 15 minute to align for myself, because again, 15 minute was also bullish, right? So what I was waiting for personally, and it kind of happened, but again, it didn't fully happen if I adjust my zone. Look, so this is obviously kind of like the range that we were playing in over here. So what happened is that we had these two equal lows over here. So what happens ultimately, you kind of like take out the low over here with this wick. So that's the moment that you kind of want to get involved. I had my area of demand refined to this sell for the buy. You could have obviously also drawn it like this. Then what you see is that you tap into that zone with absolute precision. So sometimes I draw them like this, sometimes I just draw them on the sell for the buy. That's pretty much just what I wanted to see in this particular situation. And then what you do is that you wait, okay, do we get that, bullish momentum? Well, this is then your fractal high over here. So you push in towards the highs. This is obviously your sell over here. This candle over here is your sell for the buy. So your area of demand. What happens, the market comes in towards there. You place your buy on that zone. You see you get in towards it, and you've obviously put your stop loss underneath the demand zone. And then you target the highs over here for a 1 to 3. So a very, very simple setup once again, in line with the overall 15 minute order flow. the 15-minute structure as well, obviously coming from 4-hour demand in line with 4-hour swing structure, 4-hour internal structure. So a very beautiful setup over here on AUDUSD. If I would have refined my zone like that, you see, sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. It's a matter of a few pips, which changes the outcome. But whatever, regardless, still looking good for that further upside. No real fresh area of supply over here. So it does look like Aussie dollar is going to take out these equal highs. So I'll just be waiting, not getting in any trade here anymore. Obviously, this is your 15-minute swing high. So just follow the overall internal trend and see what happens over there. So yeah, I mean, we broke this high over here. We broke the highs over here. So pretty much just the overall trend is in towards the highs. So as long as that trend is respected, just keep on buying. For now, just keep an eye. Does this low sustain? If it does, then you can look for longs from these two areas of demand in towards the highs. Liquidity underneath here. So maybe we'll take out this and then, for example, take out those equal highs over there on AUDUSD. So moving on in towards pound dollar. So pound dollar, what is happening over there? So yeah, 4-hour obviously reacting to demand over here. Not a clean or fresh area of demand that I like. Overall, what happened yesterday was pretty interesting. We moved up in towards this area of supply over here on the 4-hour, reacted to it. Now going in towards the 15-minute, you then had kind of like, let's see, no, you didn't really have any trading opportunities. So, I mean, on the 4-hour it looked nice, but overall on the 15 again, still very, very messy pair. But you can see price moves in towards this area of consolidation over here where supply lies, move in and move downwards. So overall still just ranging for me. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, once again, yeah, I mean, I'm still not looking for those longs until we break this high over here. So that's your 4-hour fractal high. If we break that high, then kind of structural alignment will come from me. Preferably, I'd also like to see these highs get taken out. But then again, you're running kind of like in towards this supply zone over here. So there's kind of like a lot of, yeah, let's say nitty-pitty things that I don't really like about GU. Again, liquidity above these highs, fresh supply zone. So I wouldn't be surprised if we then kind of like sell off in towards the downside. Overall 4-hour obviously still bullish. But then, yeah, I guess the buys would still become valid, obviously, because the 4-hour fractal structure is then in alignment with the overall 4-hour swing structure. So until we break these highs, just wait. With longing on GU, I would say. Then NZDUSD. So NZDUSD is a little bit more interesting at the moment. I mean, the daily is bullish, but the daily is looking good for a potential pullback, because after a daily BOS, what do you expect? You expect a push in towards the downside, a pullback. This is your fractal low. So this fractal low gets broken by this fractal high over here. So this is currently fractal structure on the daily. Now going in towards the 4-hour, then it gets a little bit more interesting because of the fact that kind of internal structure was like this, boom, boom, and then now again bearish. So we have some supply located over here. That's what we're currently stalling. Now going in towards the 15-minute, you can then see the 15-minute is bearish. And again, sorry for my messy chart, but what you could potentially do if you do trade NZDUSD is look for a potential short. Due to the fact that the 4-hour is bearish and the 15 is bearish and the daily is looking good for a pullback. So currently located inside the supply zone, not the best supply zone, but still it's a supply zone. So let's see if we can break, for example, this low over here. Then you could potentially look for those shorts back down, just trade a little bit aggressively or manage it a little bit aggressively back down in towards, for example, this demand zone. Overall, the 15-minute is bearish, but it's obviously not like the cleanest of structures over here with kind of like this rangy structure that we have, but I would like to see a further correction in towards the downside on NZDUSD with a stronger dollar. So keep this set up in mind with the fact that dollar could be inside that 4-hour area of demand. If you see a nice reaction from that dollar index 4-hour area of demand, look for those longs. Last of all, gold, and sorry guys, I know it's taking a little bit long, but I hope you guys are taking as much value from this as possible. Now on the 4-hour on gold, or let me just start off with the daily, because the daily is the most interesting one. So the daily overall, obviously, came back in towards this buy before the sell, taps in, moves back down. So this is now your new buy before the sell. This is our daily fractal high on this bullish candle. So yeah, gold is still and remains bearish until we break 2039.99. Overall, we're now inside this area of demand. So I do kind of expect a bullish reaction. For the rest, there's no real fresh area of demand because all the sells before the buys have already been tapped into. So this is the only fresh one which you can really trade from. So let's see if we can kind of get that pullback in towards the highs. Now looking at the 4 hour, yeah, I mean, there's not really any fractal structure to trade from. What I would be wanting to see, and let me just clean this up real quick. This is now your 4 hour zone over here. So this is the 4 hour zone kind of stacked with that daily zone. So what you now want to see is a break of the 4 hour fractal structure. So that's a break of this high, but then obviously you're already kind of like tapping in towards daily supply over here. If that high would have been here, then I would have looked for that long, but yeah, now it is not. But I mean, if you're a little bit more of an aggressive trader, you could look for that potential long already back up in towards, let's say 2017 whatsoever. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic day and speak very, very soon. Thanks, guys.